In today's video, I'm going to review two very popular PMR446 Motorola radios. The one we're looking at now is the XTNiD and the Motorola XTN446. The Motorola XTN446 model has been around for a number of years now. It's very reliable, very popular and durable. It's if you like, it's heavy duty. There's 8 channels with 121 privacy tones to each channel. You can change the different call alert. There are 3 of them, so it sends out a different ringtone. You can set the sensitivity for the voice activated transmission, so it's automatic Vox. And you can decide to whether include a channel in the channel scan, or if you want to leave it out, you can just change that to yes and no, so you won't have to scan the same channel again. Now there is a different mode on the XTN446, the programming mode, so you can activate that and you will be able to change your privacy tones, which is displayed on the right hand side of the screen. At the moment is showing 0. There's no tones added. That's CTCSS and DCS tones. There's a battery level indicator, and if I turn the radio off and turn it back on again, you should see the different symbols on the screen. Now the XTN446 allows you to enter 3 different codes for voice scrambling, so that will make sure that the radio only picks up the correct transmission from another radio that's set to the same code. Now in terms of the build quality, it's really solid. Now it's very simple to use and it feels nice. It's all curved, the back is, and the front, which this little plastic cover can be replaced, and a lot of XTR446 are in grey, yellow, different colours, so it's very easy to take off. Just lift the cover from the 2 sides of the radio. Now the battery on this one is rechargeable, but it's not a lithium battery, and don't forget that you can use 4 AA sized alkaline batteries in this radio as well. Now the belt clip doesn't come with the radio. It's on one of the slide-on plastic covering things that I haven't put on this radio, and so you can clip this on your belt, but you have to use one of those special belt clips. The antenna is quite short. Okay, it's about 2 inches long, and on top of the radio there's only the on, off and volume switch. So in terms of using this radio, it's very simple. So turn it on using the up and down plus and minus keys to select your channels. Now this is pre-programmed, so if you had any CTCSS tones, you won't be able to change it on the standard mode. There is a monitor and channel scan function, so you press that, you see it's going through the 8 channels at a reasonable speed. Now this is only scanning the channels you've programmed in the privacy tones. Let's say, for example, at the moment I haven't got a tone for channel 3, so it's going to scan through the standard 8 PMR channels. But if you did have a privacy tone, that is only going to scan the pre-programmed channels, so it's not going to scan the standard PMR channels. The buttons on the front of the XTN446 are very prone to losing the signs, the printing on the buttons. 9 out of 10 XTN446 that's been used, you can see on auction websites, you can see the plus, usually the plus and the menu buttons will lose its writing on top. As you can see, my one is a little bit worn, and you've got the call alert button on the left, so just press that to send out the preset ringtones. And there are 2 buttons, one with 1 dot, the other one with 2 dots, these are the two programmable channels. You can just press it and set to the preset. For example, that's set to channel 1, that's to channel 2, that's just the default, but you can change that to whatever channel you like. For example, you can change that one to channel 6 with privacy tone 5, or that can go on to channel 8 or something, and that can be done in the programming screen. To reset your Motorola XTN446 to factory setting, you just need to press and hold the PTT button and the menu button at the same time. Press and hold these two buttons and then rotate the on and off switch. And once you hear the quite unique tone, that's been reset. So you can see the factory reset has privacy tone 1 for all channels. To enter the programming mode on the XTN446, you need to press the PTT button and the monitor and scan button at the same time, then turn the radio on. And again, it's showing, it's playing a different tone there, so you can then program, for example, let's do channel 1. You can go up and down and change the channel you want to have different settings on. So let's go into channel 1, press the menu button, and it takes you on to setting the different CTCSS and DCS tones on each channel. So now we put it back on code 1, press the menu again. Like I said, you've got the voice scrambler function, so you can go through 3 different settings and the off setting. So if you're talking to a different radio, not a Motorola one, and it hasn't got the same voice scrambler, you need to make sure it's off, otherwise the other radio can't hear you. Press the menu again. This is what they call the manager's lock, so you can lock the channel, and so there's no change can be made on this preset. And that's it. When you finish programming this radio, you just need to oh, by the way, if you wanted to save the 1 and 2 preset, you just need to, let's say for example, get to the channel you want. I did say to save channel 6 as a preset. Just press and hold one of the 2 buttons, and you hear a confirmation tone. And once you finish programming, press and hold the PTT button, and now that's been changed back to the standard users mode. So let's say you're now on channel 1 and you want to quickly go onto your shortcut channels, because we saved channel 6 onto the first button. So just press that once and it takes you onto the preset. So again, you can set 2 of the 8 channels with the tone on one of these buttons. Let's now take a look at the Motorola XTNiD. Now this is an improved version from the standard XTNi model, which I'm going to show you in a second. Now the XTNiD has a display screen. It's not as big, in my opinion, as the XTN446 there, but it has got the ability to show you the channel number and the channel name, which is programmable on the radio itself. And you have, again, you have a menu button, you have A, B and C, 3 function keys. The plus and minus will allow you to change the channels displayed. Now this radio has 16 channels, so it's the PMR446 twice. So from channel 1 to 8 it's got the PMR446, and on channels 9 to 16 you can program those channels again with a different tone. So what I've done on this radio is I've taken the CTCSS and DCS off for channels 9 to 16. So it's the standard without any privacy tones. So I'll be able to communicate with other radios of different brands and different models. Now on the side of the XTNiD, you have the PTT button and the 2 side buttons which are programmable via a computer. By the moment, the top button here, the first small rounded button, allows you to take off the privacy tone for the current channel. So press it, you hear a single kind of beep, and that confirms the squelch is open for anything on channel 5, for example. So you won't have to worry about matching the CTCSS tones to different channels. Again, you press again to go back onto the one of a preset. It's a high pitch, slightly high pitch tone, and that means you now back onto channel 5 with a preset CTCSS. Like I said, the Motorola comes standard on CTCSS tone number 1 for all channels 1 to 8, and it will do the last one on the DCS, and sometimes is the 121 for channels 9 to 16. On the right hand side of the radio you've got, again, this is the headset socket. It's covered in a very nice little rubber here. On the back of the radio, now this is a lithium-ion battery of 1100 milliamp hours, so the battery life on this one is quite good. And on top of the radio you have a on and off switch, and a rather blank area here, because the XTNi had a channel selector, and this one's got rid of the channel selector. Now you have the up and down plus and minus button instead of that. Again, very small antenna. This is about ½ inch shorter than the XTN446. It's a very solid build, and I know it's IP55 waterproof, I say splash proof. Again, it's not advised to be submerged into water. You have to make sure it's dried before you can use it again. Now let's go through the quick settings on the XTNiD. Again, you have the menu button, and that takes you through changing one of the 3 different call alerts or ringtones on the radio. 0 means there's no ringtone. And there are 2 settings for the microphone sensitivity and voice activated control. Again, you can decide if you want to leave one of the channels out of the scan, so just say yes if it's in scan. If you want to leave it out, just say no. And button A is preset to sending a call tone. At the moment we haven't set anything. On button B and C, these 2 are very similar to the 1 and 2 button on the XTN446, so you have 2 preset channels on there. So I've set channel 5 to be the shortcut and channel 7 to be on the other one. To enter the scan mode, again, it's going through 1 to 16 channels on the XTNiD now, because the XTN446 only has 8 channels, this one has 16, but like I said, it is a repeat of the 8 PMR channels. It's only got different settings to it. To start the scan, press the lower or the bottom side key once, and you can see it's going through from channel 01 to channel 16. If it picks up anything, it will sort of fixed onto that channel, and your red light should stay on. At the moment it's flashing to indicate it's scanning. It's a very quick kind of flash. To stop the scan, you can either press the PTT there on the channel you're on, or just press the multifunction key again to take it off scanning. The monitoring function on the XTNiD, you just need to press and hold the first small side button. So press and hold it for about a few seconds, and you activate the squelch, so you open it wide open. Now on XTN446, you have to press and hold the scan button. Now there are 2 more things I'd like to show you today on the Motorola XTNiD. You can do a factory reset by press and holding all 3 buttons, that's the PTT plus the 2 side keys, and then turn the radio on, and it will play a unique kind of like tone, and that's going to put the radio back to factory setting. But if you want to go into the programming mode on the XTNiD, you just need to press and hold 2 buttons, so PTT and the top side key. So again, let's put this into programming mode. Now channel 1's flashing, and you have got the the writing here says programming. So again, you can go through your 16 channels you want to program. So let's fix onto channel 1. Press the menu key, and you are now able to change the CTCS, SDCS tones, and instead of 121, you have got 219 on the XTNiD. So I'm going to leave you on code number 1, so that's for channel 1. Press menu again. The same thing with XTN446. You have 3 scrambler functions. It's going through 1 to 3. Leave it on 0 to disable it. And that's very simple. That's what you can do. Another thing about the B and the C key, like I said, is very similar to the preset 2 channels. You just need to choose the channel you want, choose the privacy tone you want, and scramble anything, and just press and hold either the B or C key to store that onto the radio. When you finish programming, just long press the PTT button, and you can see the battery indicator symbol comes up, and there's a little signal strength like an aerial in the right corner there. It's showing, and the programming icon has disappeared. So now the radio is on standby users mode. Now, I said earlier on, the XTNiD PMR446 is an upgraded version, or if you like, is the one with the display screen different to the original Motorola XTNi. This is the one on the right hand side. That's the XTNi. As you can see, the 2 radios share the same body. It's exactly the same size, and the top of the radio you have a channel selection switch on the XTNi, which is the 16 channel. It's programmable via the PC, same as the XTNiD, but you haven't got the flexibility to program it using the buttons on the front of the radios. On the side of the radio, they're very identical, the XTNi or the XTNiD. You wouldn't be able to tell the difference between the 2. Again, the one with the belt clip on is the XTNi, and the one without is the ID version. The D stands for display. The same accessories apply for both radios, and they share the same battery and charger and charging stand as well. Now, in terms of purchase prices, the XTNiD is slightly more expensive because of the screen and the flexibility to change some of the settings. So it's more expensive than the XTNi. Now, in terms of their functions, once you program them, they're very similar. The XTNi has 16 channels, and you do that by rotating the switch on top of the radio. And it's the same way if you wanted to reset your radio, which is press and hold all 3 buttons on the side to get it back to factory setting. On channels 1 to 8 on the XTNi, you have the standard PMR446 channels with number 1 privacy tone set up. And on channels 9 to 16, you have the DCS tone set up on that. It's very standard on a lot of Motorola PMR446 radios. Both the Motorola XTNi and the XTNiD on display here are the very, if you like, the top end of the PMR446 market, and they're designed for business users and for people who probably designed for a tougher environment than those consumer leisure type of PMR446 radios. The biggest advantage of these are, well, one of them is license free, so you haven't got to worry about applying for license. The problem with those is it is half a watt. Now, both radios have half a watt, so if you wanted to look for something that's a longer range or better performance, you may have to consider the commercial radios from the Motorola range or other brands. And the price wise, they are reasonably priced, just over £100 for the XTNiD. I think is around £130. That's the average price online, and the XTNi being slightly cheaper. Now let's bring in the trusted Motorola XTN446 into the lineup. So that's right in the middle here. We have the XTNiD on the left and the XTNi on the right. The XTN446, like I said, it's been out for many years. I can remember that from at least 5-6 years ago. And XTNi and ID versions, they have been out for a few years, but they are very reliable radios. And from my previous workplace, we have used the XTN446, and because they're not making them anymore, if you want to replace them, you have to go to the ID version if you want it to have the display screen. The XTNi series on the left and right, they definitely look more robust and feels more upmarket, because there's a lot of, if you like, the soft touch plastic, and it's got the metal body inside, whereas the XTN446 is mainly hard, scratchy plastic. But the good thing about that is if you damage the front panel, you can just replace it, and again, you know, that cover can come off. The belt clip for the old XTN446 is kind of like a holster. You have to plug it in and then wear it, whereas the XTNi series is integrated onto the battery of the radio. So if I take the battery off, you can see the rubber seals on the surrounding the battery contacting point, and it's got the metal backing of the radio here. Here's a quick comparison of the Motorola TLKR T8 radio in terms of size and to the XTNiD, and on the right hand side we have the XTN446. So this T8 is more like a consumer type PMR446 radio, whereas the other two is more business-like, and they are more expensive. So I think the pair of Motorola TLKR T8 is about £80 retail, and the Motorola XTNiD is about £130 each. So as you can see, there's a big price difference. And I have completed a range testing with these radios, and for example the XTN446 and Motorola TLKR T8. So if you look out my other videos, and I have compared the range of the. Now that's the end of this quick review and comparison of the Motorola XTN446 to the newer and more robust versions of the XTNi and the XTNiD. I hope you enjoyed the video, and please subscribe to my channel for more updates of PMR446 radios, as well as other handheld radios, for example some of the other brands like Baofeng, Ocean and Puxing, and a range of other radios. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.